Hi, yogis. Welcome to your practice for this week, for today. Let's get started by coming into our opening pose of our seated Shavasana. So go ahead and relax back into your chair. Have the feet flat onto the floor. And then you can close the eyes or have a soft gaze down towards the floor, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Turn the palms of the hands to face up for more energy, palms down for more calming. I'm going to turn my palms up for today. And then let's relax into the chair. Release any thoughts that you don't need for the next half hour of your yoga practice. And let's tune our awareness inside. So bring your intention inside, and you can do a scan of the body, starting from the head, down, out through the arms, down through the torso, the legs, the ankles, the feet, even the toes. So just do a scan of how the body's doing for today, noticing any areas that might require some additional attention, whether that's more time in a pose or in a stretch, or maybe even modifying or skipping. And now let's tune into our breath. Let's start to build our Ujjayi breath, our victorious breath, where we breathe in and out through the nose if that's open and comfortable. Feel the belly rise and fall as you breathe. So more belly breathing, less chest. And then let's give our breath a voice, as if you're fogging a mirror in front of you, even if the lips are together. So it's a gentle sound of the breath, both on the inhales and the exhales. And I will be cueing the breath most of the time, but if I don't cue the breath, please continue to breathe and move on the rhythm of your breath. So let's try to maintain our Ujjayi breath throughout our practice, but if you do need to breathe in a different way for a few rounds of breath, go ahead and do so. Let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart, and if you'd like to set an intention or a dedication for your practice, go ahead and do so at this time. Let's slowly blink the eyes open. Namaste. Always an honor and pleasure to be with you. Let's scooch forward into our chair to come into our seated mountain pose, that really good posture. We're engaging through those core muscles to support the spine. Shoulders over the hips, head pulled back over the tailbone, bottom of the chin parallel to the floor. Stretch those fingers wide, the palms wide, and then move those fingertips down towards the floor. Take a moment here to feel all the muscles that are involved with just sitting up tall. And then inhale, circle those arms out and up or forward. Exhale, hands to the heart. So remember to modify if you need to. Keep those joints happy. Inhale, arms out and up. Keep the shoulders down. Exhale, hands to the heart. And one more time. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's change the direction. Inhale to lift. Exhale, open and circle out and down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open and circle. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open and circle. Now let's place those hands onto the thighs for our seated cow-cat. Inhale, open the chest. Shoulders back. Exhale, round. Move in a way that feels good. Inhale, open the chest, seated cow. Exhale, round, seated cat. And one more time. Finding that really nice, deep Ujjayi breath. Let's come back to sit up tall. Inhale, one arm lifts. Exhale, side bend. Maybe circle the arm forward to continue to warm up the shoulder. Inhale, other arm lifts. Exhale, side bend. Stretch it out and circle. 2 more times on each side. Remember to move according to the rhythm of your breath. Inhales is when you lift the arm. Exhale is when you side bend. And if your breath is a little bit different from mine, that's fine. Just move to your own rhythm. Let's inhale, both arms out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Interlace the fingers, stretch the arms forward, move the shoulders down. So we're still sitting up tall, and you can have the height of the arms or whatever feels good to you. Take an inhale here. Exhale, let's twist to one side and hold here. And even try to get those thumbs. So the thumbs get a little stretch as well. Engage those core muscles, gentle twist for the spine. And then let's come back to center. Draw the hands back towards you. Change the crossing of the fingers. And then same thing. Press the palms forward. Move the shoulders down. You can have a soft bend in those elbows. Take an inhale to sit up tall. And then exhale. Let's twist over to the other side. And it's just a gentle twist. So we never want to force ourselves into any stretch or any twist. Find that Ujjayi breath. If you need to relax the arms a little bit further down, you can. And then let's come back to center and then draw the palms and the hands back towards us. Draw those arms back behind you on the chair, anywhere on the chair. I'm going to go on the back of my chair. You can separate the feet a little bit wider. I'm going to scooch a little bit forward too. Draw the shoulders back so you stretch out through the chest and then hinge it forward. But my hands are on the chair, so you get kind of this pulling sensation to stretch out through the chest. Breathe here. One last Ujjayi breath. And then go ahead and pull yourself back up. And let's start to draw those feet a little bit wider than the hips. Hands onto the thighs for support if you need it. Elbows in. Take an inhale. As you exhale, hinge forward at the hips. So keep hugging those elbows alongside the body. Inhale. Let's lift it up. Exhale. Hinge it forward. So keep that strong flat back as we move a few more rounds. And if you don't need the hands so much, and you can put the work or the muscular effort in the muscles of the upper back and the lower back and the middle back, then we'll get some good core work as well. Let's press our way up. Let's draw those arms forward, interlace the fingers, except for the index fingers, our Charlie's Angels arms, and then let's lean it back this time. And we'll try to keep those arms parallel to the floor. So take an inhale, exhale, draw it back to center. Inhale and exhale. So it doesn't have to be too much, just feeling those abdominal muscles engage. Let's come back to center. Let's change the crossing of the bottom three fingers, so it might feel a little awkward. We'll sit up tall. Let's hinge it back just an inch or two to feel the work of the core, and then twist over to one side, and then back to center, over to the other side. Inhale is when you come to center. Exhale is when you twist. If you need to come up a little bit higher, go ahead and do so. Just warming up, getting some strength work for the core. Still thinking about finding that lift in the chest. And then let's come back to center. Pull yourself up, release the hands down. Now let's scooch back into our chair to warm up the legs. Let's lift one foot. So kind of our standard warm up. Ooh, that was a big crack on my ankle. So we can make sure the ankles and the lower legs and the feet are ready for our standing poses. Change the direction of our foot circle. Still finding that Ujjayi breath. Let it be soothing to your body. Inhale, kick it forward, toes towards you. Exhale, hug it in, point the toes away. So 2 more times. And last time. And then let's see how the hip is doing. So start to circle. And if you do have any discomfort in the hips, you keep your range of motion to a pain-free point. Let's change the direction of our hip circles. All right, let's go ahead and place that foot down over to the other side. Let's first start with those foot turns. I always have a little crack on this side. Let's change the direction of our foot circle. And then inhale to kick it forward. Exhale, hug it in. So 2 more times. Last time. And then let's start those circles. Ooh, nice easy stretch here. Also kind of warming up the joint. For our Warrior 2 and our Warrior 1 poses, change the direction of your circle. All right, let's release down. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. So now let's carefully come to stand behind our chair for our standing poses. For our standing poses, the chair is here for support, for balance if you need it. So feel free to keep a hand on the chair the whole time. if you have the need. Let's find our way into our mountain pose. So let's start with the feet about hip bone distance apart, all 10 toes pointing as forward as is comfortable. Stand up tall and then stretch those arms alongside the body. Reach those fingertips down. And then on the next inhale, let's draw those arms forward and up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. I'm going to give you the side view now. So standing behind the chair. So coming into our half sun salute. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, fold it forward. And let's just take a moment here. So elbows alongside the body, hands on the chair for support. You can press into the hands to give some support to the weight of the upper half of the body. And I'm bending my knees and I have a strong flat back. Inhale, start to straighten the arms, lifting the chest, looking forward. Doesn't have to be all the way to straight, because exhale, we're going to fold it forward. So feel the forward and back movement of the pelvis. Inhale, let's press into the chair to rise up with that flat back. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway up. This time as you exhale, step the left foot back, warrior one base. Start to bend that right front knee to stack it and track it towards the center of those toes, so stacked over the ankle. Back leg is straight, back toes angled to the outside of the chair, and then we'll upright the spine. Maybe one or two arms or no arms lift, coming into warrior one. Make sure the heels of the feet are about hip bone distance apart. That will help with the balance. And breathe here. Nice. And then let's slowly hinge forward at the hips. Let's come into a twist. Left hand down, right arm circles down, and then back thumb pointing up. So twisting just the shoulders to the right. Sometimes you can just give yourself a thumbs up. And then let's slowly untwist, both hands onto the chair, and let's step it forward. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend through those knees, fold it forward, elbows alongside the body. Remember, the depth is up to you. Next inhale, lift up almost all the way. Exhale, let's step the right foot back, warrior one base. So separate those heels so they're at least hip bone distance apart. Let's start to bend the left knee to stack it atop the ankle, track it towards the center of those toes. Back leg is straight, back toes angled to the outside of the chair. Upright, maybe one or two arms or no arms. Breathe here. And then feel that you can wiggle your left toes. So we're really pressing into the heel of the left foot. Nice. Let's take an inhale and then exhale, hinge forward, right hand down, left arm circles back and up as you turn just the shoulders and the chest to the left. So the hips are pointing forward, the knee is still tracking towards the center of those toes. Lots of strength work happening. And then let's slowly untwist. Hands onto the top of the chair. Go ahead and step it forward. Let's separate those feet a little bit wider than the hips for a supported forward fold. And then start to bend those knees and round forward, forearms onto the top of the chair. Maybe stay here if it is safe for you to go a little bit lower. Hands onto the top of the chair. So we don't want to just hang without the support of our hands or arms on something, since we're rounding through the spine. And then if you'd like, you can pedal through the legs if that feels good. Bend through both knees, hands onto the top of the chair. Engage strongly through your abdominals, elbows in. Let's slow roll it up the spine, pressing into the hands. All right. Interlace the fingers back behind you or hands on the hips with the thumbs towards each other, and let's open up through the chest. Our standing camel stretch. Think of moving the tailbone down, but the heart lifts towards the ceiling. And then let's go ahead, release. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend through those knees, fold it forward. Inhale, lifting up almost all the way. Exhale, step the left foot back. This time let's come into high crescent pose. So feet definitely hip bone distance apart or even a little bit wider. All 10 toes pointing forward as best as you can, and then bend that right knee to stack it atop the ankle, track towards the center of those toes and upright. So maybe it's just one arm lift, because this is our high crescent pose and it is challenging our balance. If it is safe for you to do so, both arms lift. Breathe. Take an inhale, and then exhale, we'll come into that twist. Hinge forward at the hips, left hand onto the chair, right arm back and up, just the shoulders and the head turn to the right. Feel the squeeze of the outer right hip or the outer buttock. Nice. Let's slowly come back and then step it forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lifting up, straightening the arms. Exhale, step the right foot back. High crescent pose on this side. So separate those feet hip bone distance or even wider. Bend the left knee to stack it and track it. And then find your balance and then maybe add the arms. Find that Ujjayi breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge it forward. Right hand down, left arm circles back and up. Come into your twist. Just a twist for the upper half of the body. So lower half of the body stays still. So the hips stay pointing forward. You can always do a little quick check on that front knee. And then let's slowly unwind. Come back to center and let's step it forward. Let's find our way into chair pose. So you can have the feet together or feet hip bone distance apart. Just make sure the knees stay the same distance apart as the feet. For today, I'm going to have my feet hip bone distance apart. All 10 toes pointing as forward as you can. And then hinge forward at the hips. You can almost think of it as a narrow squat. So really feel your legs working. And then maybe the arms forward. Notice if you're overarching through the spine, lengthen. Think of lengthening through the spine. Tailbone points away from the head and down towards the floor. Take another inhale. Exhale, fingertips onto the chair. Stand up tall. Lift both heels as high as you can comfortably. Little stretch for the front of the ankle. Softly release down. Inhale, chair. The depth of your chair is up to you. Exhale, lift. Inhale, chair. Make sure those knees track towards the center of those toes. Don't go past the toes. Exhale, lift. 2 more times. Inhale, chair. Exhale, lift. And last time. And release down. Now let's go into our Warrior 2 series. So let's stand behind the chair if you're not already there. Separate those feet. Coming into a wide leg stance. And then let's come into temple pose. So draw those toes out, about 45, and then bend through those knees. Try to stack them atop the ankle and track them towards the center of those toes. So we don't want the knees to come in. We want them to open out. Feel all 4 corners of the feet. That excludes the toes, so you can wiggle the toes, as you can see. So feel the 4 corners of the feet pressing into the floor. Let's keep one hand onto the chair. Inhale, arm out and up. Exhale, easy side bend. Inhale, other side. Exhale, side bend. So still staying in our temple pose. Let's just do one more time so you can feel the legs warm up. Let's come back to center. Straighten those legs. Square the toes to point forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, soft bend in those knees. Hinge forward at the hips. And then maybe it's just a very gentle sway of those hips side to side. So you can feel just a very mild sensation of a stretch in the inner legs. Sometimes I like to add these little kind of wagging movements for the hips, just to open the hips up a little bit more. Draw the hands to the top of the chair, elbows in, bend through those knees. Let's do a little push-up. Now let's come into Warrior 2. Lift one heel, turn those toes and the knee out to the side. Draw the back toes slightly in, and then bend that lead knee, stack it and track it. Upright the spine, shoulders, chest, and as much of the hips as you can towards your chair. Make sure that front knee, that priority is that front knee. And then let's open up those arms, move the shoulders down. Let's flip both palms. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms to your comfortable height where you can keep the shoulders down. And then exhale, press those palms back down to Warrior 2. Inhale to lift. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhale, lift. Exhale, Warrior 2. Let's inhale, reverse warrior. Take just a couple extra rounds of breath here, holding here, still opening that lead knee towards the direction of the center of those toes. Let's come back, Warrior 2, shift it forward, side angle pose. Remember, this top arm can be anywhere that feels good to you, stretching out the side of the body. Nice. Nice. Let's come back to warrior two, hands down, straighten the leg, carefully turn all 10 toes to point forward, and then let's move over to the other side. So about heel to arch alignment. From that front heel, straight back to the back arch. Bend to stack and track, and then turn as much of the torso as you can towards your chair without sacrificing the position of that front knee. Let's open up the arms, move the shoulders down. Take a moment here in warrior two. Let's flip the palms. Inhale to lift. Exhale back, warrior two. Try to make sure that that lead knee is tracking the whole time towards the center of those toes. Almost like it's on railroad tracks. So we're constantly feeling the work of the outer leg to keep that knee where it should be. Let's flip the front palm, reach it up and back, reverse. Breathe, move the shoulders down, open up that knee. Feel the length along that front side waist. Nice. Let's come back to warrior two. Shift it a little bit forward for side angle. And now we'll feel the length of the other side waist. All right. And then press it back up. Release hands down, all 10 toes to point forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Forearms onto the top of the chair. Maybe hands onto the top of the chair. Nice easy sensation of a stretch along the back of the legs, the inner legs. And if you'd like to add that little wiggle with the hips, you can. Nice. Let's come back to center, hands onto the top of the chair, soft bend in those knees, elbows in, press your way back up. Let's lift that first lead leg, come into triangle pose. So the foot and the knee are pointing out to the side, back toes are in, but both legs are straight. So I like to keep my stance for triangle pose a little shorter than warrior two. That's just a personal preference. And then let's open up those arms. Let's come into triangle pose. Draw those hips back and up. Reach forward and up. And then when you can no longer stretch, then the arms fold. So now we have length along both side waist. A little bit of work for the top side waist, but try to make sure you're maximizing the stretch of the bottom one. Maybe the bottom hand onto the chair. And then to come out of the pose, we'll bend through that lead knee, come through warrior two, and then hands down. All 10 toes point forward, right over to the other side. So both legs relatively straight, which means we're engaging through those sides, but we're not locking out those knees. Open up those arms and then triangle pose. So as the hips drop back, the lead arm draws forward to get maximum stretch for the side waist. And when you can no longer stretch, then the arms. And breathe here. And you can look, the head can be in whatever position feels comfortable for you. All right. Let's bend through that lead knee so we can gently come up and then go ahead, release hands down, all 10 toes pointing forward. Now let's open the toes out just slightly, not quite 45, but you can adjust accordingly for a side lunge. Soft bend in both knees to start, hinge forward at the hips. So maintain that strong flat back. Let's start to bend one knee as we shift the torso and the hips towards that side. Make sure the knee does not go past the toes and it is always tracking towards the center of those toes. And then let's come up and then over to the other side. Draw your bottom a little bit back behind you. That'll ensure that the knee doesn't go past the toes. Up and then side lunge. Up and side lunge. So get a stretch through the legs, through the hips. Now let's side lunge and hold here. And then I like to come onto my forearm. So I'm not taxing the lower back. Weight in my upper half of the body is onto the chair. Looking for a nice easy stretch on the inner legs. And then up and over to the other side, and we'll breathe here. Ooh. Nice stretch. All right. And then when you're ready, come back to center, do a little push up to rise, and then heel toe or walk the feet towards each other. Let's come into our balanced tree pose. I like to do this pose every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Might as well work on our balance as much as we can. So start from mountain pose, and then let's lift one heel, open it out, heel on the inside of the ankle, and then hands can be staying on the chair, or hands can be at the heart, or arms up, arms out, whatever feels good to you. Maybe play with lifting that bottom foot or the elevated foot a little bit. So find where you feel little wiggles, but where you stay upright. Lots of good strength for that standing leg. All right, let's release over to the other side. Remember, chairs here if you need it. I just have it to the side so you can see my feet. Maybe for this side, I'll lift the arms. Find that Ujjayi breath. Maybe lift that floating foot a little bit higher. All right. And then let's slowly release down. Little shake out. So now let's carefully have a seat in our chair for our grounding poses. Let's sit towards the front edge of our chair for one of the classic poses that I really like. Let's start to straighten one leg forward, keep the heel down, but lift the toes. You can have soft bend in the knees and that straightened leg, and then hands onto the other leg, hinge it forward at the hips. Feel the tilting of the pelvis until you feel the mild sensation of a stretch underneath that back leg. And breathe here. So we still get some lift in the chest. We don't want to round through the spine. We really want to focus on that forward tilt of the pelvis to get the stretch, as opposed to like rounding through the spine or reaching for the toes. Let's press our way up and just go right over to the other side. So we'll sit up tall and then hinge forward. Ooh, don't need a lot to feel that mild sensation of a stretch. And then breathe. Use the sound of the breath, the feeling of the breath. Use the depth of your breath to relax the body a little bit more. Nice. And then let's slowly come up, rebend, separate the feet a little bit wider. And now let's come into a seated supported forward fold. So either forearms onto the thighs. If it is safe for you to go a little bit lower, you can draw the feet or the hands onto the feet or even onto the floor. Rounding through the spine, stretching out through the back of the body. Finding that Ujjayi breath. Maybe allow the head to drop down if that feels good and comfortable. And then to come out, first forearms onto the top of the thighs. Engage through those abdominals so you can roll in on up and move towards the hand. Now let's lean it back. Hug the knee into the chest. So we'll stretch out through the hips. And we're just hugging as high as is comfortable. If it is okay, you can cross the foot to the other side of the leg. So we're still drawing the thigh in so we get a stretch on the buttock and the back. But now if you're drawing your knee a little bit over to the side, you'll get a stretch to the outer hip as well. And a little place for your foot to rest. Nice. Let's go over to the other side. So you can just stay here hugging it in as high as is comfortable. If it is safe and feels good, then you can sort of cross your foot to the outside of that bottom thigh to feel that outer stretch along the hip. All right. Ooh, this one feels good. Let's go ahead and release. We're leaning back into the chair. One last stretch for the chest. Open up those arms to a comfortable point. Breathe here. And then as you're ready, let's come into our final pose of our seated Shavasana. You can close the eyes or have a soft gaze down towards the floor. Palms up for more energy. Palms down for more grounding, more calming. Let's all take a breath together. Exhale out the mouth. And enjoy these next couple minutes of Shavasana. And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Sense a movement into your fingers, into your toes. And then let's draw the palms of the hands together at our heart and recall the intention or dedication you set at the beginning of your practice. Let's stack the hands atop the heart to take a moment to feel gratitude to yourself for coming to your practice. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. As always, it is a privilege and a joy. Namaste. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.